Hi everybody, great to be back with you. Didn't plan on doing this today, but Spirit moved me to do it. And I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Fred Christian Jr., and I'm an activist out of Miami Gardens, Florida, with the organization on social media known as #Impact. I did a video on Sunday about MLK in a dream, but I realized there was a few points I forgot to put in the dream. A lot of our communities in various states, but especially in Miami-Dade County and Broward County right now in Florida, our rents are ridiculously high. Families are struggling to afford rent, which is insane, and we've got to do something with this problem. However, we face a state legislature that refuses to fix anything, yet creates more problems than it's worth. Our rents are too high, our families are struggling with low wages, living in subpar communities in some cases, that really some of these buildings are 40, 50, 60 years old that are past the lifespan of the buildings, which is one of the many problems we face in Florida. So that's one of the things I forgot to mention. Dr. King would not be pleased with the state of housing in America, state of housing in Florida, because he visited Miami. Fact of the matter is, when we did the MLK parade, that was done in honor of him for visiting Miami. He wrote and practiced the I Have a Dream speech at the historic Hampton House Hotel in Miami. Little historic nugget there I give you for like my friend, I don't know, hope she'll watch this maybe, but my friend Rubia Garcia likes stuff like that, and throw that in for you, Rubia. Didn't know if you knew that one or not, but he did actually practice that speech in Miami. But he would not be pleased. The great man and the great order of God would not be pleased. The modern day Moses, Dr. King would not be pleased seeing people in the community he visited and cared about struggle with rent, struggle with affordability, struggle with low wages. He always fought for low wages. Fact of the matter is, the day he died, he was going to fight for sanitation workers so they get better working conditions and better wages. So this was a must for, he was all in. And 95 years, he still would have been, had he lived, he still would have, I believe, been all in on this. And we need to start to care more about this. And we need to also care about the healthcare problem in Florida. Dr. King wanted people to have healthcare. I want people to have health care. This is coming up on year 11 or 12 for me, fighting for Medicaid expansion in the state of Florida. And I'm not real happy right now because Kathleen for Southwest Florida, as she's known on her handles for social media, or Kathleen Pasadomo, the state Senate leader, already slammed the door on us on Medicaid expansion in terms of the Senate and House voting on it and possibly getting it done for Florida. Now, 49 states have gotten this done already, and some more red than Florida. What is the problem, I ask these people and Senator Pasadomo? What's the problem? What did people like me who went over 30 years without health care do wrong? I'd like you to answer that. What's the problem with working people struggling that just need a little help with their health care? What's the problem there? Why can't you just help us? Why can't you do the right thing? What did we, and I felt like this since the Tea Party, like because I was poor and struggling, that I did something wrong. And I don't understand what I did wrong. I mean, I'm sorry I'm poor. I'm sorry I'm disabled, but what did I really do wrong? Can some of these people please answer me what we did wrong? I really, really want to know what we did wrong. That our rents are so high and you won't do anything with rent control or better conditions or even accountability. I mean, they're getting so sloppy in the state. I watched a segment called Dirty Dining, and I've never seen so many mom and pop restaurants with filth in them. I mean, really, people, what is going on in Florida? That's why I called it Florida. You got restaurants that should be closed permanently. You got buildings that are almost falling down and people are struggling to live in that are crime infested, mold infested. And you got a rent problem and you got a health care problem because they won't expand Medicaid. What is going on in the state? Do you really think Dr. King would be pleased? And finally, we've had, unfortunately, where I live in Miami Gardens, a few incidents with gun violence. Unfortunately, a young man was playing with a gun that was 13 years old last week, and he shot himself and killed himself accidentally. Now, where are the parents on this with a safe storage? I've been putting out memes on this. There's a bill called Ethan's Law, which was sponsored by Mike and Kristen Song and Paul Murray from Newtown Action Alliance, and even Melvin's Demand is in on this, where we're going to protect it by having trigger locks. What's the big deal that people cannot use? Let me get one of these out. Give me a minute. I'm going to get one of these out. What's the big deal that you can't use one of these to protect your kids and protect yourselves? What's the big deal? I'll ask that. What's the big deal? So Plus, we wear these to make you aware of gun violence through Bullets for Life. And part of Bullets for Life with Susan, what we're going to do is we're going to try to encourage trigger locks. Letha's doing it with survivors. I'm doing it. Tracy's doing it with families affected by violence. We're all trying to do this with trigger locks. Parents, friends of parents, godparents, grandparents, please get these things from police departments. Moms demand somewhere. Lock your guns up. I'm tired of seeing children get shot accidentally that don't have to. Please, secure your firearms. And for those who think we want to take them from you, we don't. We just want to have our kids safe. Again, our kids safe. You think Dr. King would be pleased seeing children get shot up? Like Chas was, like Alana was, like Jada was, like King was? Do you think he'd really be pleased with that? That's not his dream. He wanted children playing happy, not shot and dead. Like DeSantis and his little friends up in Tallahassee, because they voted this brilliant gun law with no safety provisions and nothing to protect us, and no encouragement of safety, no encouragement of legal action, no encouragement of any laws or protective guidelines like background checks or anything. No, they think more guns is the answer. Less guns is the answer, not more. Lower rents is the answer with rent control, not higher rents. Lower food prices. Bridget Mather, the reporter from Channel 10, even did a little video on talking about Miami being the highest in the country for food. This is getting stupid down here with Florida. What is going on? I really want to know. And I will say this, Dr. King was not pleased, would not be pleased with what's going on. The dream is alive and well in some cases with people that care. But then you've got people doing these things at the federal and state and local level, especially the state level, in a cynical state with a cynical governor like DeSantis, who just is out to slash and burn anything. You know, I don't try to get political, but this is the truth and this is what's in my heart, and I'm sorry. I'm not happy. When you're seeing kids die, when you're paying high rent when you don't have to, when you're struggling to afford things when you don't have to, this isn't right. And when you see a Kathleen Passidomo, the Senate leader, say no to Medicaid expansion, when 500,000 people still need health care in this country and in this state, it's ridiculous. Senator, please reconsider this motion. Why would you let someone like me, who went over 30 years before I got my disability, go without health care? Why? Why are you letting people suffer? Please, if you watch this video, ask the senator that and ask the people in power that. Why are we letting us suffer? So I'm going to read you this now. This is for everybody with gun violence. This is for all my mom friends, Letha, Tracy, all of them. We had another shooting with a young man that was bullied at a high school, local high school here, Northwestern High School last week too. And the young man's in critical condition. So we're going to read how many. For the moms, for the dads, and for the community. Because one of the members of the press conference yesterday asked what people were doing. And I want to remind people I did write this poem for that. They may not have heard it, but I did. So here we go. How many? How many times must we cry? How many tears must we cry? Yes. How many times are we going to cry tears because someone gets shot and killed or shot and messed up? How many times must we say goodbye? Like that family did yesterday because they didn't secure a gun this weekend. When someone we love dies. How many times must we sigh and want to cry? How many kids must die? How many moms and dads will cry? How many Americans will cry? Why? When someone they love dies. Too many tears, too many fears, too few years. How many more will say enough? And how many more will rise up and say enough before our future dies, before it begins? How many will cry? So I'm going to break it down line by line before I go. How many? How many tears must we cry? How many times must we say goodbye when someone we love dies? How many times are we going to cry because our kids get shot up accidentally? Because of unsecured guns, because of stupidity, because of fights, because of beefs, kids getting guns that shouldn't have them, kids stealing guns that shouldn't have them, because people are sloppy with the guns they have. How many times, people? How many times? When someone we love dies. And yes, you can die from gun violence. How many times must we sigh and want to cry? Enough of the crying, enough of the sighing. We got to change the culture for our kids' sake. How many moms and dads will cry? This is for Letha, this is for Tracy, and this is for Tan. And for Amaros and Sharita. I've seen them cry so many times. I've seen Susan cry so many times, and she doesn't even have a child lost to her from Bullets for Life. I've seen Tawana cry over losing relatives to it, King being one of them. And how many Americans are going to cry, why? Like last week when that principal died in Iowa in that school shooting. Why did that have to happen? Why? Too many tears, crying. Too many fears. Enough of living in fear. Enough of being afraid. Enough of worry. Enough. Just enough, people. Please, enough of people shooting people and dying. Enough. So how many more are you going to say enough? How many more are you going to rise up? Like Dr. Bendigal said yesterday in the press conference, we need people coming out there. And Tangela Sand said, we need people coming out there to do things. I can't all the time. I will try to do more. I promise you. I will try to do more publicly. But I'm trying to do my little part here. And I've had enough. I've had enough for a long time between rent, between the Medicaid expansion, and between this gun violence problem. I've had enough between these three things. I just hope you folks have enough. Because I want to ask you something really. I've been thinking about this and pondering it. But I'll say this one line to you, but I want you to think about this. How many will rise up and say enough? Before our future dies, before it begins, how many will cry? You understand, when our children die, they don't have a future. Let's do something for our kids. Let's get involved for our kids. Let's let them have a future, please. Please, let's let them have a future. Please, please, please. Because, and I want to encourage you guys, I shared a video a couple days ago of my dear friend Letha Cheryl Bush, the founder of Survivors Affected by Violence, the Jack Brown Foundation, named after her son Jack Brown III, who was shot back 5 times in Overtown about over 10 years ago. Survived, suffered massive injuries, and was paralyzed, and eventually died from his injuries. Letha is a tireless advocate for gun violence. I want you to hear from her perspective. This was done 3 years ago after Chastity Saunders was killed. We found Chastity's killers, yes, but I want you to hear the pain that these moms go through and these dads go through. I want you to understand this is no joke. So I want to encourage you, if you need me to message it to you, I will message you this video. I want everybody hearing this video, and I want everybody to see this video with Letha and share it. I want people to stop this with this, and I want them to share this video. So I want to thank you guys today. Have a great day and God bless. My name is Fred Christian Jr. I'm an activist at Miami Gardens, Florida. I'm a disabled community activist with the founder of the organization #Impact. Thank you all and God bless for your time. Amen.